Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Artisans, where we're slowly putting together this area here. We've got some difficulty 5 puzzles we have been wrapping up in this area. Okay, so here we've got the sort of like the budget rose window thing where they only can afford one symbol. So this thing here has now locked in these 2 cells, and it definitely takes that. This is the same shape. We've got that at least. To do appear to be the same shape presently. This is part of one of this shape, which is exciting. This is part of one of these shapes. Okay. And now, basically, the idea is we can sort of assign everyone, like, this 4-size shape needs to take that one, because it can't get to any other ones. This somewhat weird shape needs to take that one, and the square needs to come down here and take that one. This cell concerns me now. So I feel like this cell is going to have a hard time being yellow or blue without being yellow and blue, but there's definitely nothing else that could take it. Unless my brain is not... Oh, it's because of the... Is it because of the weird reflection things happening? Because these are not just, like, rotated. They're rotated and mirrored. Yeah, okay, so yeah, there's a... Yellow can take this without breaking blue, and in fact has to, because nothing else can take this, and blue can't take this without breaking yellow, is what I am observing. Okay, now, one thing I can note is that yellow doesn't continue this direction, so blue doesn't continue this direction. Blue doesn't continue this direction, so therefore yellow doesn't continue this direction. Yellow doesn't continue that direction, so blue doesn't continue this direction, and therefore this cell must be red. Which tells us mostly what red looks like, but not quite. Assuredly, we're not done with cells being yellow and blue yet, because this cell is certainly still not part of the purple monster down there. So this blue extends at least that far. Oh, right, and the 3 there are all protected. So this isn't blue. It's assuredly not yellow. Yellow and blue both take at most 3 more cells running down their respective sides. Unfortunately, I don't think I can improve that, that bound. I think if orange goes down, I'm going to have a problem because I'm going to have to put yellow or blue in this corner. I don't think this shape fits there if I make orange do this. I don't... 2, 3... 1, 1, 1. No, it does not. And nothing else gets close. So if orange goes down there, I'm forcing yellow or blue to get into this corner. And that's going to be very awkward. Because then the other one is going to have a pointy edge that looks like that. And I don't know where that pointy edge is going to go. And it would have to be blue, right? There's no way yellow gets over there. But if it were blue... that would mean that yellow would have sort of a pointy edge over here, and that's not going to work. I don't think. I think this has to look like that. Okay, and now... I think we can agree that we have to put blue over here. Maybe I should make this not blue. I should make this some other color. Cyan. It's like this shape. Okay, so this purple has one of two things it could look like. It could go like that, or that's if this is that, that's if this side is that end, or it could go like this. In both cases, so one of them is this, and the other one, just to draw it over in a different shade of purple, is that. In both cases, this cell is purple. Similarly, green could look like that. Or green could be 1, 2, 3. Green could look like that. In both cases, these two cells are green, right? I think that's true. Yeah, it's either that or that. It's just a question of where the other two cells are that are green. And I think what I can do is I think I can count, starting at this end of yellow that matches this end of blue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That cell is not yellow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. This cell isn't blue. And so if it isn't blue, the only color I think it can possibly be is green. And so I think that forces green to look like that. And I think that means that all of this is blue, which means that all of that is yellow. Okay, we have understood the prompt. And now... Oh, that doesn't quite resolve how purple works, does it? Oh, it does tell me that these cells... Sorry, it does actually, because it tells me these cells aren't yellow. If they're not yellow, I still can't get cyan over there, so these must be purple. So we're doing this sort of upside down, like that. Okay, so blue and yellow need to make it to this corner. And yellow can only make it through these cells. And blue can only make it through those cells. I say this must happen because otherwise there's no other shape that can take all of these cells down here, and I only get blue if I get yellow and vice versa. Now, if this cell down here, which now we've decided is yellow or blue, if it's yellow, then I need to, then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cells this way from that cell. Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cells this way. That doesn't work. So this cell isn't yellow, it's blue. So blue needs to connect around this way. So those 4 corresponding cells are starting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from here. Those 4 cells are now yellow, is what I'm saying, in order to just handle the mirroring part. Okay, good. It's giving me flashbacks of one of my earlier puzzles. Like my third puzzle I ever made was something about like reflecting assorted ominoes in various ridiculous ways. This teal, I mean, basically this space and this space are mirrors of each other. And teal certainly can't take both of them, and therefore it can't take either of them. So all of this has to be yellow, and all of this has to be cyan, is what I'm concluding. Okay, now there's a slight asymmetry, and that asymmetry is these 2 cells. These 2 cells correspond in yellow to these 2 cells in blue. So these 2 aren't yellow. So these 2 must be part of cyan. And if that's true, then we've now sort of pinned down that cyan looks like that, I want to say. Which makes those yellow and these blue, and forces blue that way, yellow that way. Oh, this cell that's not blue now can only be red. And so now we have to just figure out, like, this cell certainly has to be blue now, so that cell has to be yellow. So those are both blue. Those are both yellow. That one's yellow. That one's blue. Oops. I meant to drag that there. There we go. Okay, success. Okay, we've got these fun little things. Okay, this red here, this S, be separate from that. Looks like this line can go either way to me. This S always has to take those 2 cells, because the S, if you think about it, just has to grow to be a size of 4, and even if it takes that cell, it still needs that cell. It's not that cell, so this L always takes those. And it's only a question of whether it takes that one or not. This S always takes that cell. And then it's just a question of which other cells it takes. I think this is always an I or an L. But it's not an I, is the point. Because if this was an I would either have to I up here, which is a catastrophe because there's no way I'm fitting an I in there, or I have to I over here, which makes this a domino, which is a problem because this cell is definitely part of orange or red. Just by sort of visualizing if orange goes down, red goes up. So this is not part of the I, which tells me that the I looks like that, which tells me that the red looks like that. So this is part of an L. Okay, in all cases, this thing, whatever it is, takes both of these cells, because if it's a square, it takes both of them, and if it's an S, it takes both of them, no matter what the shape of the S is. So it's maybe not as clear to me that this one can't be an I. Yeah, if this is an S, I guess it's uniquely that S. There's some annoying... I guess the thing I can say for sure about this L is that it definitely takes that cell, because if it doesn't, then it's not an L. But then I've got a couple options. The L could go like that, or the L could come over like this. I think those are the two options, really. Yeah, this being an I, unfortunately, works well with the L, with one of the particular L's. Although, funnily enough, it would break uniqueness if this were the I. And then if this is the T, that's better for me. Okay, this thing, whatever it is, in all cases it takes those two, because this is either a T or an S. And the S is going to go like that. And the T is going to go like this or like this. These are always the same. Which now has told me I'm not fitting an L here, right? Yeah, I'm not fitting an L here, so now this is an S. Makes the L look like that. Okay, and so now this S just always takes these three cells, and I just don't know exactly what which end of it I extend towards. Okay, I can still do a T here if I go this direction. Oh, this can't be an S anymore, can it? Yeah, this is no longer able to be an S itself, because the S it could have been was this S, and it can't be that S anymore. So this now has to be a T, and it has to be that T. So that means this T comes over to there, which forces this S to have that shape, and this T to have that shape. Doesn't seem to have helped with my primary concern, does it? Wait, does T here break both options for the L? That's what happens, isn't it? Yeah, that's a little gross, but it's true. If I make this a T, now this becomes an S, and now this L over here doesn't work either way. So this is not a T. This is an I. Which means this needed to be an I, so it looked like that. So we've got one of those over there. Now, funnily enough, I know that all of these are yellow. And in fact, actually, once I fill in that, I now know that those are yellow, which means I know that those are orange, which tells me that those are orange. And now everything is done, except for sprucing up my color scheme just slightly. There we go. Oh boy, okay. Now we have Mingle shape back, and everything is a tetromino. Okay, so we can fill in our orange here, and that one's done. Orange means square in Zeta Brain for some reason. Okay, so this S can't go that way, so it's got to come this way. Can't join that, so this S looks like that. Should go together, but I guess I don't know quite what that looks like. This has to be vertical. Has to go at least that far. But actually, if it comes down any further, it makes this T impossible. So it actually looks like that. That does tell me that this T looks like this. This L now definitely needs to extend over here, and so it needs to actually have its hook here, because otherwise the world breaks. Now this is something, and in fact it's just an S, because I can't take this cell or I'll be an L touching an L. Just force my orange. This S doesn't take that cell anymore. So now whatever this is, it comes up here, and it also needs to take that cell. Speaking of this S, I can't take that cell because that would force me to do that, and I'd isolate that cell. So I have to do that instead. Finishes my orange. Plops another red over here. Let's see. That seems to just be a T by magic. This can't be blue, because if it was, then I would isolate a cell. So in fact, what that means is that this is an S. So this is red, and it either looks like that or like that, but I don't know which one yet. This yellow always takes this cell, because if it didn't take this cell, it would be an S touching an S. And that now tells me what this red looks like. And now this yellow is actually an I the whole time. Okay, so now this cell coming here takes those, but it can't be an L because it would be an L touching an L, so we won't do that. Let's go ahead and color the rest of those just for sanity's sake. Okay, so this blue needs to be horizontal for sure and can only extend to that direction. So it always goes at least one this direction. If this red doesn't take this cell, there's going to be problems. I'm trying to articulate this. Yeah, maybe I don't agree with that, actually. I think this red and this I could be partners and try and take care of the world together. Okay, let's see if I can get anywhere from above. Let's see. This is, again, vertical. It's got to go at least that far. I don't think green can go up here because of my, like, this is 8 cells business. But then I'm confused about what's actually happening. Did I screw this up? No, I've not screwed it up so far. How am I breaking these two up so that it doesn't destroy the world? Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, the thing I saw in my head was I think this is broken. But then I wasn't sure. But I was trying to sort of think about all the ways I could divide these cells in my head, because in this instance, I would have to do that. Because I can't take any number of cells out of this group of 8. But my thought was, how am I possibly dividing this into two non-identical shapes? And I think the answer is I'm just not. Which means the green actually doesn't do that. Now, if the green comes up here, I think the world gets even worse, because then we isolate some cells. So I think the green actually has to come over down there, is what actually has to happen. Which does all of that. That's not right. My visualized thing was incorrect. What did I... Oh, sorry. I said green doesn't take that cell. That doesn't tell me green comes this way. Green can go this way, which is actually what I had thought it had to do. But let's be... So... either this connects up or this connects up, because we said we can't break both of these. However, if one of them connects up, so does the other. Because if only one connected up, then we would be in a situation where we had a not multiple of 4 number of cells left to fill. And so that, I believe, tells me what is happening here, because now this is going to be something. Because there's a multiple of 4 left, so we've got to do that. This has become an I. That. Okay, now everything's fine. So yeah, so the multiple of 4 thing is a very good trick to know, as long as you apply it very carefully. I'm very good at applying it when I have chat to instantly tell me if I break it. If orange goes down like this, I strand a number of cells here that is wrong. because the ice will take 2 more of them, and there'll be 7 cells that I have to deal with. So so orange, in fact, comes up like this. This is now 6 cells, which means I need to borrow those 2. Like that. Need to take this cell with yellow, because if I don't, I get trapped either becoming an L that isolates this cell or becoming an I. Or if you prefer, if yellow doesn't take this cell, this thing grows here, and then yellow is an I. Whichever of those feels less like a cheap look ahead to you. This cell is definitely some as of yet undiscovered shape. And remember, one of these 2 is yellow, so blue can at most go 1 up here, so blue goes at least 2 down here. So blue is actually an L, regardless of which way it goes. If this cell is red, it looks like the world is horribly broken, because if this cell is red, my purple can't take this, right? Here, let me do this better. Because though I kind of hated the way that I did that. It made me throw up a little bit. This cell is much like blue down here. In fact, I can just use blue again. This cell has to be part of something. It can only take 2 cells that way. Or sorry, it can only take 1 cell that way. So it has to take 2 cells this way. Which does, in fact, force this to look like that. That to look like that. Which means it should be green. And now blue, and the only thing I'm slightly cheating on here is that blue is in fact purple. Because it can't be that. There we go. That's way better. Okay, so now that red goes there, and this red either looks like that, which is bad. This version doesn't work, because now this shape is an L. So it's that. Okay, good. The fact that this orange has 2 completely different things that it could look like is a little bit maddening to me. There's the version where blue comes over here and orange comes over here. That one doesn't actually work. And the reason why this one doesn't actually work is because this omino here is now forced to be an L or an I, and it touches both. So the blue extending all the way that way doesn't work. So that means the blue extends at least 1 this way. But now if... well, now red assuredly takes this cell, because if it doesn't take this cell, then all kinds of things are wrong. Maybe that's not the easiest deduction to make. Maybe the easiest deduction to make is that we've got something over here that's not either of these 2, and that something can only be a square, because if it was an S, it would omit everything. So we're going to put our square here. And now if blue extends here, now this is also an I, and it's not the L it's supposed to be. So blue doesn't do that. Blue does that, which makes this do that. And now all I'm left with is a square. There we go. Okay, we've goldified this window. I think we could do one more. Oh boy, maybe not that one. Maybe this one? Maybe I'm not actually going to do one more. Let's see. I guess I have to do that one to get over to this area of the world. Because I think I have done all of the other areas of the world with the exception of a few 6 and 7 difficulty puzzles. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Okay. Given that, guess I will do this one. Okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, and this is a precision 5 puzzle. So that's good to know. So this comes down here, and so it's definitely got a U shape. This comes through here, doesn't take that, doesn't take that. So it takes that, can't take that, so it takes that. Comes across here. It had better take this blue, because if it doesn't, that blue is of size 1. Which then forces that shape. Let's see. Got all kinds of things like that I can draw in just in advance of when they are needed. Okay, anyway, and we don't have Mingle. Okay, got red going in like that. Let's see. I see I can start like a blue over here. It can't take that cell. Okay, maybe I should instead say I can start a yellow here, and no matter how many cells it takes up, it definitely takes one down. This red, actually, the same thing is true. No matter how many cells it takes up, it definitely takes one down. And actually, this one even takes one further down. So now this yellow here... well, this yellow here needs to take 2 more shapes and then 1 cell that doesn't have a shape. And no matter how it does that, it can't get to this cell. So that cell has become green. And if yellow doesn't take this yellow is not going to be part of something of size 5. And likewise, if yellow doesn't take this blue, it's not going to be part of something of size 5. So we'll get all of that going in like that. There's a thing there where I can do that at least. Let's see. These two go together, so these don't. So this blue, if it doesn't take this red, it breaks the world. Because if this blue doesn't take this red, it comes over here and then comes up and isolates this blue. The blue does take this red. And now, again, it either takes these two or it takes those two, and those two would break the world. So we get that. Which means we've got a green that takes all of those. This green gets 2 more cells. One of them had better be that red. And I can't isolate this cell, so it has to be green. Okay, we can do something similar here. Oh, maybe not quite, actually. We can do it here. And this is that sort of funny case where no matter which of these 2 yellows the green takes... Oh, no, sorry. The green could take that one down there, maybe. Oh, I should mark this blue is the thing I should mark, because this blue gets at most 2 cells back there, so it always comes out like this. This yellow gets at most 2 cells like back there, so it always comes out like this. Orange can't take that cell. Orange again gets at most 2 cells back here, so orange always comes back here. And orange can't actually take both of these cells, so orange always takes at least that cell, which then actually gets us that. So now this is yellow, and that's yellow. Okay, that's good. Let's see. We can have a purple like this. That cell can't be purple because I'd isolate a red in a place where I could only add it to something that already had red. Okay, so purple needs to take this cell in order to get to be big enough, regardless of whether it takes this cell. Purple can't take that cell. This cell is something, and it always has to grow up at least that far. So now purple can only finish as an F. This can only finish as a V, which actually finishes that and that up there. Okay, good. Make this orange. If I make this cell not orange, then orange cuts it off, because if this cell isn't orange, orange does that, and now this is part of a region that is not enough cells. And now orange only gets 2 more cells, and the only red it can access is that one. And in fact, the only orange, now the only cell orange can take is that one. Oops. Sorry. If this cell isn't green, then it grows this way, and then green cuts it off. Because if this cell isn't green, it's green grows here, and then this thing ends up not being large enough. So this cell is green. This is something like that. Yellow can come here. Yellow can't have that. Okay, so if yellow wants a blue, it's only able to access that one, which then forces yellow to look like that. Okay, we've got... That's just a W. It's a perfectly ordinary W. Okay, ice already has a yellow. Okay, this is the only blue that ice can possibly get, given it only has 2 cells left. And ice can't take any of those cells, and ice can't take this cell without isolating that cell, so ice looks like that. Which now gets me an orange that comes through here. Orange needs a yellow, so it looks like that. And so we can have a green down there, and that will finish that, that puzzle. All right, little tiny preview of the next area. Very tiny. But we'll do one. Number shows the area of the region. Okay, so we've got a 3 here. We've got a 4 here. The 3 is finished. The 4 is finished. So the 4 is finished. And now the 3 is finished. Okay, so we've got almost Philomeno up as our next thing. It's not quite Philomeno because, as we saw there, the things can touch. But we'll continue into that journey next time. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll be back soon with more Artisans of Kozilek. Bye for now.